Former President Trump just now exiting the New York City courthouse, where he's again insisting that there's no crime, while giving a stern warning about another conflict breaking out in the world. Joining us now live is NTD's White House correspondent, Iris Tao. Good evening, Iris. What did we hear from Trump as he was leaving the courthouse today?
Good evening to you, Steve. So former President Trump just now again said that the case should have never been brought, and also talking about potential world conflicts, especially warning about a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping. Watch.
I saw something today that's maybe worse than anything. President Xi of China, I know him well, and President Putin of Russia, I know him well. They're right now together working on plans where they combine, where they get together and do damage. And take a look at what President Xi said today. He fully expects to take Taiwan. And I'm sitting here in an icebox.
And Trump's been saying that if he gets reelected, a war in Taiwan will be avoided. But there you have him voicing frustration over the need for him to campaign while not being able to do so, as he's still stuck at the courthouse. Steve.
Certainly an ominous warning there from the former president about Putin and Xi growing a closer alliance. Just shifting gears here, Iris, the White House now saying audio of President Biden's special counsel interviews are privileged, thus out of reach by House Republicans. What's the latest move by the White House on this today?
Right, so according to the Justice Department, President Biden has now asserted executive privilege over the audio recordings of his interviews with special counsel Robert Hur, effectively blocking Republicans from obtaining these tapes. And the White House and the DOJ today both defending President Biden's actions, saying it's needed to avoid chilling future witnesses. Watch.
This is one that would harm our ability in the future to successfully pursue sensitive investigations.
The Attorney General wanted to make sure that that law enforcement files like these must be protected.
Despite Biden's move, Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee still moved on Thursday to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for refusing to turn over the recordings. Special counsel Robert Hur, who investigated Biden for his handling of classified documents, described Biden's memory lapses during his interviews. While a transcript of Biden's interviews has been released, Republicans say that's not enough. Watch.
The recordings are necessary. The transcripts alone are not sufficient evidence of the state of the president's memory.
Trump's campaign is accusing the White House of using executive privilege to run political cover for President Biden. But Trump, as president, has also repeatedly used executive privilege to block Democrats from accessing records during his first impeachment inquiry. Steve.
NTD Iris Tao with that live report from the North Lawn of the White House. Thank you, Iris. And today, several House Republicans flocking to New York City to express support for former President Trump. This just is the latest in a string of prominent GOP politicians visiting the courthouse this week.
There is literally no branch of government that Michael Cohen has not lied to. He lied to investigators. He lied to the judge who sentenced him. He lied to the United States Congress.
This is a crooked sham trial to try to hurt the nominee who's going to be the president of the United States, whether or not they like it.
We have a judge whose daughter is making money. We have a judge whose family is enriching themselves on what's happening today.
And if a former president can be targeted by a woke and corrupt judge, then you can be targeted as well.
Several congressional Republicans characterizing the trial as being politically motivated, some calling it evidence of a two-tiered system of justice. Trump is facing 34 counts of falsifying business records related to alleged hush money payments. He's denied any wrongdoing and pleaded not guilty to all charges. And turning now to a new bill introduced in Congress to stop the D.C. City Council from changing its criminal sentencing laws, and the suspects in the New York assault on police officers getting plea deals with lighter sentences. Joining me now is Oklahoma Congressman Josh Burkeen to discuss these events during National Police Week. Congressman Josh Burkeen, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, glad to be with you, Steve. Thanks.
Great to have you back, Congressman. You supported the D.C. Crimes Act, which would prevent, I believe, the D.C. City Council from amending its sentencing laws, including making them harsher. Give us an idea as to why you supported this legislation, why you think it's important.
Look, whatever the crime is, the sentence needs to be, in relation to that, not because of what age you are. That's it. It's that simple.
Congressman, I want to get your thoughts on that incident that was involving the illegal immigrants who assaulted NYPD officers. Can you discuss the challenges and policy considerations in addressing these crimes committed by illegal immigrants, especially in terms of public safety and legal accountability?
Yeah, well, Congress, is taking up an issue on this and just said, look, if you do something like that, immediate deportation. I mean, that ought to be common sense for the average person, but you'd think it's already occurring, but it's not. So Congress has, acted in good faith to change that. We'll see what happens with the Senate. And we need people that want to come to this country that are here to contribute to society. And when they're not, then number one, they shouldn't be allowed in the country. We should do a better job of vetting them. Southern border, point A. And then, those who do arrive in this country and don't have good behavior, they ought to be immediately shown the door.
Congressman, these plea deals for these illegal immigrants that were involved in assaulting these officers, they range from 6 months to 2 years. How do these sentences compare with typical penalties for similar offenses? And what factors do you think influence the decision on these plea deals?
So much of what we have done in Washington, D.C., we've taken away state authority. And, that's, if you look at Federalist 45, that the states were to be laboratories of democracy, the power of the state to be numerous and indefinite, the power of the Fed, few and finite. Our founders wanted so much authority, even in crimes and punishment, to be left on the state level. And then you would see states that have these short sentences, that have these, short punishment, don't punish crimes quickly. You'll see that they become a magnet for people whose hearts are given to do evil. And the states that get serious about whatever the crime is, that the punishment coincides with that, then you'll see order, safety, peace, and prosperity. And so some of these decisions need to be left to the states.
Congressman, these plea deals are coming during National Police Week. We've had several law enforcement officers tell us that police morale is at an all-time low, this without support from leadership from the top down. What kind of message do you think these deals send to the NYPD and others during Police Week?
Yeah, demoralizing. We had a hearing just a day or two ago, one of the committees I sat on, and we had law enforcement in front of us, and they talked about, under this administration, what they've seen. One law enforcement entity from the Austin, Texas area talked about how the funds that Texas is having to move to enforce its own border, that they've seen departmentally a loss of funds to help them do the day-to-day operations, and talking about state funds. So what he said was that they've lost, because of morale, because of just the culture, this defund the police, and what Black Lives Matter turned into, in terms of just really assaulting the value of law enforcement.
Congressman Josh Burkeen, thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.